Happy Monday, you beautiful soul. I am here once again to remind you of how brilliant, abundant, brave, multifaceted, and all the things in between that you are. And if you don't believe that about yourself or you haven't heard that today, I am here to be your higher consciousness to remind you of just how abundant you truly are. So thank you to the person that is going to join me today. I am not going to take up too much of your time, but I did want to jump on because I think that this topic is very important, and it's actually something that I'm very passionate about. If you've been following my content for quite some time, you know that abundance is something that I love to talk about, protecting your vibration, having a higher vibration, because at the end of the day, it is your responsibility to protect it and to raise it. The moment that you wake up to the moment that you lay your head to sleep. And when you know that you have that much control over your life and that you are the co-creator of your life, you know that just these things that I'm going to talk about are going to really help shift your perspective when you are in a situation that doesn't make you feel like you're in control, or that your emotions are all out of whack, and then it ends up lowering your vibration for that reason. So I'm here to just give you a few tips on how you can do that just by shifting your perspective and just by taking some, actions. It's going to take effort on your part, because protecting your energy is your responsibility, but it also takes intentional being and living in order for you to sustain that vibration. Because, anybody can say, oh, high vibes all the time. But in reality, we're human, and every single day, each and every single one of us is just figuring it out. But when you are living in the present moment, when you're practicing on just being and existing, in the now, and being very conscious of your thoughts, very conscious of your actions, very conscious of your reactions, things will start to shift in your life. So the number one way to protect your vibration is to avoid gossip and drama. So it might be a little bit easier for people to do now that we're in isolation and we don't have to, be a part of our work environments, because most of the time it's either family drama or career drama, and it's just drama everywhere you go. When you recognize that the world that you live in is really just a mirror of you, you start to recognize that you have every ability to manipulate the drama that's going on. There's nothing wrong with having healthy conflict with people. But I want to say that if you are egging on the gossip and the drama, irresponsibly, when you're talking about your brother, when you're talking about your sister, because in all reality, we're all linked. You are a reflection of me. I am a reflection of you. So if I am talking about you behind your back, that is a reflection of my character, and that is a reflection of how I feel about myself. So if I'm exerting energy and talking about other people, I am really just talking about myself. And that is something that I recognized when I wasn't walking in my purpose, is that if I was taking the time to talk about my brothers and sisters in a negative way without having the courage to actually confront the situation and tell them the issues that I was having in front of them, then that was just a reflection of me. And that is karma. That's bad karma. Because again, nobody wants to, put out that negative karma by talking about people that are really just a reflection of us, right? So avoid gossip and drama to protect your vibration, and let go of things that you cannot control. We can control a lot more than we think, and one of the major ones is being mindful of our breath, being mindful of our thoughts, being mindful of our actions, being mindful of our reactions, how we communicate with people, how we treat people. that is just, again, that's the things that we can control. But when you are trying to control other people or circumstances outside of you, that's when you're going to experience a lot more resistance. Yes, you are right, Joel. If you conquer yourself, then you conquer the world. That is self-mastery right there. That is when you have the ability to self-evaluate, self-correct. And when you're able to self-correct, you're able to self-master. And this is a rinse and repeat process, because we are living a human experience every day. We're literally co-creating every second of the day. So if we are able to master our thoughts, which then manipulates our reality, like we've got it down packed, right? So it's like, change your perspective of trying to change everybody else around you. Oh, the world has to change in order for things to change. No, the way that your world is going to change is if you change, because your perspective creates your reality. So you and I can literally be living in the same thing. Like, we're living in this pandemic and I am not worried. Like, I just believe that everything is happening the way that it needs to happen. The world is resetting itself, and I just have to do what I have to do in order for me to raise my vibration so that I can have a positive experience in this world. Simple as that. Avoid comparing yourself to others. Now, this is a big one, especially in the social media age. We literally will mindlessly scroll through our news feed and look at everybody else's life and think that, oh, this person hasn't made, but you have no idea what's actually happening behind closed doors. Most people that are living the relationship goals are living the relationship goals behind the scenes. That's not the deal that you want in your life. You have no idea what people are actually living. So unless people are literally transparently talking about this, you have no idea how this person got to where they got. And I swear, like, the perception of success is so skewed. So everybody's walking around trying to have somebody else's life, when in reality, you have a completely different purpose than that person. And although we come from the same place, we are all star seeds. We all come from the dust of the earth. We all come from a woman's vagina. Like, and we all have a purpose. We all have our own DNA code. So when you mind your own business and you're doing your thing and not comparing yourself to others and making yourself feel bad, because at the end of the day, the perception that you're creating is really in your head. Oftentimes, it's really not the reality, like when you're comparing to yourself to someone else. So stop it. Literally, like, focus on living your life for you and no one else, because no one else is going to pay your bills. No one else is going to take care of the responsibilities that you have for your own life. So mind your business and do your thing. Therefore, protecting your vibration. Don't do anything that doesn't feel right to you. I am notorious for doing what I want to do. And even if it's not the right path, if somebody thinks that it's not the right path, then so be it. Don't think that it's the right path. But if it's something that I feel in my heart that I need to do, then I'm going to do it. Screw what anybody else thinks. Because again, I'm on my own path. You're on your own path. We can collaborate. We can do things together. We can co-create together. But as far as my purpose, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to do something that doesn't feel right to me, because that's just not what I do. And when I do something that doesn't feel right to me, that's when I start to experience resistance. And that's when you'll start to experience resistance. You're going to start to feel anxiety. You're going to start to feel stress. You're going to start to feel depressed. You're going to start to feel all of these emotions that you feel you can't control, but you really can. Because when you're doing the right thing, you are more in alignment with yourself and with your purpose, and everything else doesn't exist. Don't be afraid to spend time alone. Oh man, I can go on for days about this one, because I had been on this self-love journey for many years. And in fact, there was years where I didn't date, I didn't entertain anybody. I spent quality time by myself. I traveled alone. I moved to different cities. I experienced different careers. I experienced working in the fashion industry, traveling to China. I went to Vietnam. I traveled all over the nation with jobs that were paying my way. And if I wouldn't have taken the time to reflect, to self-correct, to self-master, and to actually apply all these things that I'm talking about, I wouldn't have accomplished any of that. And for the longest time, nobody really understood my path, and nobody really had to, because I was on my own path and I didn't have to explain myself to anybody. So being alone is a way for you to really shut out the noise of the world and to just focus on what it is that your mission is, nobody else's. You'll really learn to love yourself, not depending on anybody else to give you that love but you. And every single person that comes into your life is just an extension of you. And if they are expressing that love, it's because you're giving it to yourself first. And the people that are really loving on you, that is just a reflection of the love that you're giving to yourself. So focus on doing it for yourself first. Speak kindly to yourself and to other people. So this goes back to the avoiding gossip and drama. If you are talking about yourself, because the external dialogue that we have actually starts with the internal dialogue that we have. So the conversation that we're having with our higher self and our ego is really that inner dialogue that you constantly have with the negative thoughts. So literally, if you're having a negative experience, look at your inner dialogue and see what's happening. If you are constantly at war with yourself, you're more than likely experiencing havoc, dis-ease in your body and in the experiences that you're having externally. So speak kindly to yourself. If you haven't had the opportunity to watch my video from yesterday talking about the power of words, I encourage you to go back to that video and watch that, because I will give you a lot of ancient wisdom from the Book of Life, which is our Bible, that has been kind of rewritten and misconstrued over the years through false belief systems and religion. But what the Bible really is, it really is about people just like you and I that were following their inner legend, and that they were living out their purpose just like Jesus Christ did. And they're giving lessons that they've learned throughout their life. And most of it is symbolic. I was actually having a conversation with my dad about Moses and how when the Bible talks about how Moses parted the sea, it wasn't literally. It was that he had the belief, and the inner dialogue that I'm sure Moses had was a lot with his higher self, and how we have the ability to co-create and to move mountains and part seas. Symbolically, in our minds, like we have the ability to overcome adversity, barriers, challenges, dis-ease in our body, just like lack, poverty mindsets, scarcity mindsets. We have the ability to overcome all that regardless of where we come from, because of the belief and the words that we speak to ourselves. So make sure that you're always speaking words of wisdom and words of kindness, words of unconditional love, because what makes up unconditional love? The components that make up unconditional love is kindness, grace, understanding, compassion, empathy, just like having the ability to look at a person, regardless if you think that they're different than you or not, whatever color they are, looking at them and being able to empathize and to just relate, to really resonate, because every single person that you come in contact with, you have the ability to literally find common ground. I've had numerous conversations with people from all over the world in the areas that I've lived in, the areas that I've traveled to, and I am always able to find common ground with people. You and I met when I was couch surfing through Mexico City, and I would have never connected with such an amazing soul like Ida if I wasn't open to the possibilities that this universe has to offer, the abundance that is always available to us. Check this out. I'll actually get back to this, but I have a good story about Ida and I. So Ida and I met through Couchsurfing. It's an app on, it's kind of like a social media app. It's an app for travelers. And I learned about this app through a woman that was traveling all over the world. She actually lived in Florida, and I met her at an event in Arizona. She told me about Couchsurfing. She was actually a lot younger than me. She was in her early 20s. And she had told me that she had traveled to over 30 countries using the Couchsurfing app. So I downloaded it immediately because I'm a very adventurous traveler, and and I ended up doing my first couch surfing experience in Mexico City, and I stayed with Ida. Her and I, the moment that we met, we completely hit it off. And mind you, we had never, if I would have not connected with Ida through couch surfing, I would have never met this beautiful soul. And this is the importance of us really being open to changing our perspectives, because this world is not as bad as the media portrays it to be. Like, this world is so abundant. It's filled with so many amazing people in this, like, so many amazing people, including Ida and all the people that are watching today. You are brilliant. Just like I remind you in the beginning of my words, that you are brilliant, you are multifaceted, you are fearless, you are brave, you are courageous. You just have to activate it. Make sure that you're pleasing yourself before trying to please other people. I mean, all of these kind of things go hand in hand, but just wording it differently or giving you a different perspective on how you can do these things and how you might not even think about it when you're just living. When you're just existing, when you're consciously living, you're able to consciously create thoughts that are going to help you raise your vibration and protect it instantly. Stay away from those who drain your energy. Right now, as I speak, I am transmitting energy, powerful energy of healing, energy of abundance, energy of prosperity, energy of self-worth, energy of self-acceptance, energy of self-love. I am literally transmitting all of this to the person who is watching this. So that is how important it is to surround yourself with people that have your best interest at heart. We are transmitting energy every single day. That's why we're in isolation right now, because supposedly this virus is so contagious that it's literally, if you don't isolate, you're going to catch it. And really what's happening is that people are transferring the energy of fear. And fear is a disease, and it's the biggest disease that anybody could ever catch. And when you live in fear, more than likely, you're living in disharmony and no balance in your life. So I encourage you to stay away from those fear-mongering, energy-sucking people and media outlets. If you are feeling energy drained after you get off of Facebook, after you scroll through Instagram, then you need to put yourself on a detox and stop following these people that are draining your energy, because in fact, you're allowing it. You're allowing it to happen. Ignore any opinions that don't enhance your life. And that goes back to surrounding yourself with people that have your best interest at heart. If you are the smartest person in the room, then you need new friends. And if you don't have people constantly loving on you and pouring words of affirmation, words of love, words of wisdom, words of encouragement, then you need new friends. And in fact, this isolation time is time for you to really reevaluate your life, reevaluate yourself first. Figure out where you are with your energy, because most importantly, before you leave your home, the moment that you wake up, you need to be checking your own energy. And if you're not feeling positive energy throughout the day, and if you find yourself dwindling down this rabbit hole of negativity, check your space, clear some stuff out, declutter, remove all the dirt, clean your bathroom. I remember one time, I'm actually going to give you a challenge this time, because I remember this working like a charm. I was living in Lawrence, Kansas. And I remember I was in a job that I think, like, if I change my perspective about it, I really got everything out of this job that I needed. I got the international experience. I got to travel throughout the nation. I got to meet amazing people. I got to learn skills that I didn't know, because when I first started this job, I literally felt like I was underqualified. But the universe will place you in places that you think you're not qualified to be in when you just believe and you are open to the possibilities. And I've always been very open. I've always been very open to just learning, to absorbing. I've always been a seeker. I've always challenged myself to just become the best version of myself. And I didn't have any limits. And I remember being in Lawrence, Kansas and thinking to myself, like, what is it that I did to like put myself in this situation? Because I was struggling. Like, I was there alone. I had just left Chicago, and it was just one of those things, like, I needed to be isolated. Like, the universe needed to pull the rug from underneath my feet to really know what I was made of. And I really did. Like, I really learned what I was made of when I went there. And mind you, this wasn't the first time that I had actually moved. I had lived in different cities, but this time in particular, I was overcoming a lot of old mindsets. And I remember reading a 21-day manifestation challenge. And one of the challenges was to clean your toilet and to literally scrub your toilet for like an hour. Get every crevice of that toilet. Because think about it. Shit goes in toilet, right? And if you're surrounded by negativity, then more than likely you're surrounded by thoughts that you don't need. Real quick, hold on. Thoughts that you don't need. I'm like so hot right now. And you are being just immersed by like this negativity that you have the ability to transmute. Because I told you that energy is transmutable. You can literally like stop it at any given moment when you're conscious. So I remember cleaning my bathroom for like an hour and just like being done, and like almost felt like this huge lift of like negative energy just completely left me. And when you think about it symbolically, you think about the bathroom as where you go to release your toxic load, right? And if you're not releasing consistently every single day, if your body isn't going through that digestive process every single day, more than likely you're living with toxicity in your life. And you have years and years and years of toxic buildup, not only in your intestines, but also in your emotional body. And that then affects your brain. It affects like the gut function. It affects your heart. It affects like every aspect of your life, because you can't even think clearly. You don't even have the energy, right? So one of the things that really started shifting for me is when I really started cleaning out my spaces, especially the ones that I lived in, starting with my vessel, my living vessel, the body that I live in. I've gone through major transformation over the years, and clearing out my internal body with the lifestyle changes that I made. So I went completely holistic. I had mentioned in one of my lives that I don't even put anything unnatural on my skin. Our skin is our largest organ on our body. So anything that we put on our skin and that we ingest it's either healing us or killing us, just like our thoughts are, just like our environments, just, the amount of stress that we put on our body. So I really committed to this holistic lifestyle, and I really started changing every aspect of my life. When you start to clear out the junk from your internal body, it becomes a reflection of what's happening outside of you. So that's what I'm talking about, the isolation phase, where you start to recognize your own shit and know that you're really the only person who got yourself here. So what are you going to do to change it? Because if you want to experience change externally, you have to experience change and transformation internally. And that starts with your mind, changing your mind, making a decision that things are going to be different. And that starts with you. So if you apply all of these steps, including being very mindful and intentional about how you're speaking to yourself and how you're treating yourself, you're going to instantly see a difference in your vibration. And ask for protection every single day. The moment that I wake up, I give gratitude for my life. I give gratitude for my breath. I come in my sacred space and I connect with my body. I do yoga. I meditate. I listen to good word. And then I ask for protection and for guidance throughout the day, because you have to understand that we are spiritual beings living a human experience, and that we also have free will. So spirit isn't going to come in unannounced if you don't ask for it. That's why prayer is so important. You don't have to be religious to know how to pray. In fact, prayer is just a conversation with your higher self. asking your higher self to make the decisions that you need in order for you to do what's best for your soul purpose. And then the meditation portion of it, meditation looks so many ways. I meditate when I go hiking. I meditate when I'm outside. I meditate when I'm driving. I meditate when I'm doing yoga. I meditate when I'm working. It really is just shutting out the world and just being still, just allowing yourself to be, to listen, and to know that you are the co-creator of your life, that you can have any experience that you desire, that there is no limit to what you can do when you believe. Abundance is not something that you acquire through materialistic possessions. Abundance is something that you tap into with your frequency, with your energy. You already are an abundant being. I'm sending you so much love and light today. Drop comments if you got something good out of this. Thank you for the people that participated. I am going to continue to do these talks because they are so important for raising the vibration of our planet. Please share. Please continue to support. I love you so much. Peace.